Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Fifth Down Show. I'm Bill, that college football guy. Thanks, everybody, for being here. The weekly recap of college football for Week 6 going with Week 7. We got a bunch to get into. I don't know if you could see all this here, this paper, but 17 pages of notes. 17 pages. I got idiots on both sides of me who are just kept coming in here and looking to see what I'm doing, and they're like over here, so I just peeked and then put the curtains up. I still got the windshield open where I can get light in here, but they're blocked out so they can't see or can't come in here and see a face popping in over here. All right, so we're in the Fifth Down Show. We're going to congratulate all the subscriber schools that won. We have 50 subscriber schools. Every year we do, and 50, and of those who won. We have our 5-star performers. We actually had a tie for 5th place in our 5-star performers. We have the schools that need to hit the gym, 2 of them, including an honorable mention. We also have our What the Blue Hell, or some people like to say it, Welcome to the Clown Show. We only have 2, and everybody knows which 2 they are. We also have to mention out the schools that we have who got their 4th loss or have 4 losses in the season. The school, like in my top 25, which we're going to get into in a second, we saw last year with Clemson that a 3-loss team can make the playoff. And that was at the ACC. Now, if we go to a 16 or a 24-team playoff, how many more 3-loss teams are making it? So I decided to do for that is that we're going to do 3-loss teams. Now, 4 losses, you're on the outside looking in. So that means you're running the fence here. You're on the outside looking in, and we got a bunch here. And then as you get to that, you've had 5 losses. Well, we'll get into that. Your season's done. Now it also gets, we have our, also in this, we're going to have our, would be the stand-up rank-up segment, which is basically going to be about the standings for the little fantasy draft I did with JY and Steve for the Big Mountain, and Steven from STV Castle. Update on that, which is bi-weekly, as well as the subscriber rankings and my new top 25. The subscriber rankings in the top 25 in the previous weeks have been completely thrown out. It's a complete reboot. I'll get into that when I get into that. It's not a top 25 poll. It's a cumulative ranking based upon your entire season's resume, which, thinking back on it, is what I should have done in the first place. And we have examples for that, and I'm happy about that because I spent a lot of time doing this because it was late, and like the whole thing was, this was supposed to have been yesterday, and all it takes is one person to say I can't do something, and when you're reliable, hey, could you, instead of taking that load out Monday, we got another load that's going the same place, could you take the one he's taking on Sunday? So instead of being Monday morning going into the yard, I'm here in Louisiana already. I haven't even started. This is literally, ended late and starting out here so I can get down to Laredo by the end of the day. So I'm in Louisiana. I don't even know the Breaux Bridge, Breaux, Breaux Bridge, Louisiana, which is west of Baton Rouge and east of Lafayette. ULL, University of Louisiana Raging Cajuns, Louisiana Lafayette. Big fight when everybody from who's Louisiana University and who isn't it. That's another fight for nothing. Just like there's a fight going on with Nevada Reno, UNR calling themselves Nevada now. It's the same thing. All right, so let's get into this. First off, let's get off the subscriber schools that actually won games this week. We're talking about BYU, Western Kentucky, South Florida, San Jose State, San Diego State, UCLA, Alabama, Georgia, Notre Dame, Baylor, Washington, UC Davis, Montana, North Dakota State, Ohio State, Miami, UNLV, Troy, Memphis, and Fresno State. Quite a few schools had losses this week. Our 5-star performers, this is kind of a split up here. I have to do a top. We haven't had a tie in our 5-star performers. The schools that look great, offense, defensively, overall, had the 5 best performances of the week. We had a tie because, one, I usually do it, deciding it is dominant for victory is your score, as well as the yardage disparity between how many yards your team did versus how many times that your offense had versus how many your defense allowed. That's, I call a 5-star performance. So we have a tie because, one, the yardage was literally, I'm trying to find it here. Where are you? Literally 3 yards apart And the score was it went at 3 yards apart, but the one who was 3 yards short outscored their opponent by 3 more points. It's literally like one was a 41 point margin of victory. He had 3 more yards. The other one had 3 less yards, or they won by 44. So it was basically like, okay, we got a tie here. So in 5th place tie, we're talking off Oklahoma beating Kent State 44-0. No John Mateer. Hey, no problem for Oklahoma. I mean, the offense had 170 passing yards, 185 yards rushing, 355 yards of offense. No real spectacular major performances here. The defense allowed 118 yards passing and 17 yards rushing for 135 total yards. The defense had 5 sacks, a pick, and a fumble recovery. So it's just a very good performance from Oklahoma, a 5-star performance. Also in the tie here, and maybe the only time they ever are on the 5-star performer list all year, UConn, who beat FIU 51-10. Yes, UConn scored 50 points on a fellow G5. 51-10. UConn offense had 377 yards passing, 150 yards rushing, 526 total yards. Joe Fagnano, if I'm saying his name wrong, I apologize. 22-28, 355 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no picks. The UConn defense allowed 174 yards passing, 130 yards rushing, 304 yards. That's where the margin's kind of close, because they gave up 300 yards. The defense had 5 sacks, 3 picks, and 2 fumble recoveries. So, good performance there from UConn. Hey, you made it. You're a 5-star performer. It may be the only time you're on here this year, but yeah, you still made it. All right. 4th place. Finding my notes here. 4th place. The Pitt Panthers beat Boston College 48-7. Pitt's bad, folks. But Pitt's offense had 331 yards passing, 172 yards rushing, 503 yards of total offense. Mason Henschel, hope I'm saying his name right, 30 of 41, 323 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no picks. And Kenny Johnson, the wide receiver, hope I'm saying his name right, 9 receptions, 115 yards, and a touchdown. The defense allowed 189 yards passing, 27 yards rushing, for 216 total yards allowed. The defense had 2 sacks, a pick, and 2 fumble recoveries, so a good, solid performance on both ends here. 3rd place on the list goes to Ohio State, who beat Minnesota 42-3. The offense, 341 yards passing, 135 yards rushing, 476 total yards of offense. Julian saying, welcome to the show, 23-27 for 27, 326 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no picks. Carnell Tate, guy who was originally recruited to Tennessee, decided to go to Ohio State. Man, he made his name known. 9 receptions, 183 yards, and a touchdown. He already was known. No disputing that now. The Ohio State defense allowed 94 yards passing, 68 yards rushing for 162 yards. That's just impressive. The offense wasn't as dominant as it could have been. It's under just 94 yards passing. That's damn impressive. That's the third, in my opinion, third best. For Ohio State, a 5-star performance. Second best, we're going to NC State, who beat the Fighting Camels of Kemble 56-10. Largest margin of victory of the week, 46 points. NC State, they're the second best performer. There's a reason why. 371 yards passing, 236 yards rushing, 607 total yards of offense. C.J. Bailey, the starting quarterback, 20-23, 337 yards, 4 touchdowns, and no picks. And their running back, Hollywood Smothers. I'm not making it up. Hollywood Smothers, 4 carries, 123 yards, and a touchdown. Longest was 59. Well, the long 423, you think 123, 4 carries. Okay, 59 yards. So you take the 59-yarder out, that means it's 3 carries for 64. So he's still averaging 20 yards a carry on the previous 3 before the 59er even entered the picture. Just gashing the defense on the ground. The NC State defense allowed 121 yards passing, 67 yards rushing. That's 188 yards. They had the gap is big, 419 yards. That's second best. NC State defense, a couple sacks. It wasn't anything outstanding on the defense, but an overall great team performance. But number one on the list, the largest margin yardage-wise and point-wise, not point-wise, and that's a school that is really getting some people going. I mentioned them on X. Old Dominion beat Coastal Carolina 47-7. Old Dominion's offense, 317 yards passing, 302 yards rushing, 619 yards of total offense. Colton Joseph, starting quarterback, 17 of 30. Not happy with that, but okay. 315 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks. You want to talk about a name for a wide receiver? Naeem Abdul Rahim Gladding. Naeem Abdul Rahim Gladding. 7 receptions, 101 yards, 3 touchdowns. The Old Dominion defense allowed 108 yards passing and 81 yards rushing, 199 total yards. The gap's 430 yards, which is more than what NC State's gap, Old Dominion's gap over Coastal Carolina for yardage is bigger than NC State's gap over Campbell. It's just a dominant performance. The defense had 4 sacks, a pick, and a fumble recovery. Just all around, so they're 5-star performers, but I think this is the 5-star performance of the week. Now, becoming our 5-star performer, time to hit the gym. Schools that, whether it was lack of coach, you won the game, but you didn't exactly look great. You know, it was a lack of focus. Was it your strength ran out? Was it cardio? Was it lack of coaching for mental, not paying attention on plays? You need to hit the gym. And honorary mention goes to Fresno State. Like, I normally, for doing mine, be a perfect example. You're trailing at the half, and you come back and win it, but you should have won the damn game in the first place. Honorary mention goes to Fresno State, who's now 5-1, who beat Nevada, who's now 1-4, 20. Beat Nevada 1-4, 20-17. You were leading 20-7 at the half. You didn't score at the second half. You just burn out. That's an honorary mention because they didn't do what these two schools did. And that is, first off, we're talking about Buffalo, 3-3 on the year now, beating Eastern Michigan, who got their 5th loss of the year, 31-30 in overtime. This game was tied at 14 at the half. It was tied at 21 at the end of 3 quarters. It was tied at 24 at the end of regulation. No margin at any point. Totally, you have a team. Buffalo, some people had put Buffalo as challenging for the MAC championship, and you're facing a school that Eastern Michigan is traditionally one of, if not the worst school in the MAC, and you still couldn't get away from them, and they're playing you nip and tuck. I think Buffalo underestimated their opponent in this game. I mean, you gave up 227 yards on the ground to Eastern Michigan. You got bullied. You need to hit the gym. Got to hit the weight room, man. Your cardio was good. You hung the entire game, but you got bullied around a little bit from the ground game. So you got to hit the gym. Hit the gym. Hit the weights, man. You got to be stronger. And we talk about James Madison, now 4-1, defeating Georgia State, who got their 4th loss of the year, 14-7. Georgia State led 7-0 at half. So you were trailing. You shut them down the second half and scored 14 points to get the win. 140 yards passing. Let me read that right. Excuse me, correct myself. 74 yards passing. 74 yards passing from James Madison. Your offense just sputtered in this game. You got the win, but it just you couldn't pull away. Your cardio was down there. You got to hit the gym, man. That's just bad. I'm sorry. It's bad. All right, those pages are done. Now, what the blue hell? Or welcome to the clown show, someone has said. We got the 2 games here. We'll start off with, everybody has been talking about this one, so I'm going to do this one first, and that's Penn State's complete loss, getting blown out to UCLA 42-37. You came back in this game, Penn State, to make the score close, but they were beating the brakes off of you. Just, UCLA ends a 16-game losing streak against top 10 schools. Nico and the UCLA get their first win of the year. Nico actually showed up for the first time all year. 17-24, 166 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's what you're going to get from him. He only throws for about a couple hundred yards. He's not big. 16 carries, 128 yards, 3 touchdowns, so 5 TDs total. James Franklin out looking at high school recruits, rather than looking at their opponent. I think they took this one for granted. They thought they had this one in the bag. So the Nittany Lions, what the blue hell. AP knocked you out the top 25 for this one, and I don't blame them at all. And the one here that actually, for me, based on my preseason prediction, because it's kind of funny, because I predicted Texas to play Penn State for the national championship. Yeah, I really screwed that one up, now didn't I? I'm just dumb. Florida beating Texas 29-21. I said in the Stories of Week 6 video that Billy Napier, every single year, wins a game he's not supposed to win. What would happen if he beat Texas? Well, guess what? He beat Texas. The one game a year, Sunbelt Billy doing a Sunbelt Billy, beating the team he's not supposed to beat. He did it. You know, the game to save his job. So he beats Texas. Arch Manning, 16-28, 263 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Also was your leading rusher, 15 carries for 34 yards. 52 yards rushing for the Texas Longhorns. That's a what the blue hell in its own right. DJ Lagway, 21-28, 298 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. Dallas Wilson had 6 receptions for 111 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Florida defense, 6 sacks, 2 picks. What is the problem with Texas? Is it Arch? I'm not so sure it's Arch. I'm damn sure it's this offensive line. Arch got sacked 6 times and you only ran the ball for 52 yards. That's the offensive line. I don't give a, and the old rule I used to have was, I don't give a damn how good your quarterback is. If he's flat on his back, he's flat on his back. Best example I always give for those who are old heads and old school, listen to me. Vinny Testaverde played with the old Creamsicle Bucks back in the day. With their absolutely atrocious offensive line. That was criminal how bad Steve Young, when he played there before he went to San Francisco, and Vinny Testaverde started his career there, got beat the hell up because they wouldn't spend any money on an offensive line. He goes to the New York Jets in his 30s after getting beat up and goes to the Pro Bowl because he has a decent offensive line. I'm not so sure. Arch Manning says the moment's on there, it's on me. Part of me is wondering, is he covering up for the offensive line? Is just how bad? Arch was playing bad, but if you're running for your life and you can't run the ball because the offensive line can't block it for anything, pass or run block, how good are you? I did not think. It's what the blue hell on me for thinking Texas and Penn State could actually battle for the national championship. That's dead. Good Lord. But that offensive line, Texas Longhorns, what the blue hell, man. Just, you're out of the top 25. You're out of mine, too. Now, top 25, or something, like I said, we're going to get into this here. I was doing week to week, and I have a point scale, my chart, which I've had for years. Been rewritten because the paper's gotten worn. But you have a score, your points for the week. It was a weekly basis. It would readjust every week. Was if you win games, points are taken off your score. It's based on your rank 1 through 25. That's how I did it before. But I realized this doesn't take into account for your entire season. If we want to really grade everybody on a season resume, why not do, instead of a weekly ranking, your cumulative score, which is your points for the entire season? Like, I'm going to give off the chart here. Like, if you lose games, it adds points. If you win games, points get taken off. Like, losing to a top 5 school isn't as bad as losing to a top 25 school, which isn't as bad as losing to a Power 4 school, which isn't as bad as losing to a G5 school, which isn't bad as losing to an FCS or lower school. Blowout losses, blowouts are 18 points or more, are worse than a regular loss. Follow me? Which means like a close loss, 17 or less, to a top 5 school, +2. A blowout loss to a top 5 is +4. I'm reading the chart. A loss to a top 25 is +4. A blowout loss to a top 25 is +6. A loss to a Power 4 is +6. A blowout loss to a Power 4 is +8. A loss to a G5 is +8. A blowout loss to a G5 is +10. A loss to an FCS or lower, I just do FCS, but it's FCS or lower, Division 2, Division 3, whatever, is +10. A blowout loss is +12. It's a lot of points added to your score. Now, wins, a top 5 win is better than beating a top 20, better than a top 25 win, which is better than a Pop 4 win. Top Power 4 win, which is better than a G5 win, which is better than an FCS or lower win. It's like a blowout win of a top 5 is -10. Beating a top 5, 17 or less, -8. Blowing out a top 25 is -8. Beating a top 25 is -6. Blowing out a Power 4 is -6. Beating a Power 4 is -4. Blowing out a G5 is -4. Beating a G5, 17 or less, is -2. Blowing out an FCS is -2. Beating an FCS school by 17 or less is a big fat goose egg. It's nothing because you didn't do a damn thing. And if we have a bye week, of course it's a 0 because you didn't do a damn thing. So that's the chart. The reason I'm giving this, I'm going to give you an example. And a spoiler alert, a school who's in my top 25 based on their cumulative score for the season. South Florida. South Florida blew out a top 25, which is -8. And then they beat a top 25 in Florida, which is -6. That's a cumulative score of -14. But they had a blowout wins, against Boise State, and blowout win against Boise State, -8. Blowout win against Florida, -6. That's a cumulative score of -14. But they had a blowout loss to Miami. That's a top 5. Well, that's only +4. So -14 +4, cumulative score so far, -10. Starting to see where this is going here? So, and I had to do a ranking for everybody in this because, like I said, college football, we had a 3-loss team made it to the CFP. That was Clemson last year. We go to 16 or 24 teams. How many more 3-loss teams are going to make the playoff? A bunch. So 3-loss teams need to be figured in the equation. 4 or more, well, you have 4 or more losses, you're running the fence. You're on the outside looking in. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 schools running the fence with 4 losses. Kent State, UCLA, Boston College, Kansas State, wow, the mighty have fallen, Air Force, Virginia Tech, Oklahoma State, Georgia State, Akron, Northern Illinois, Arkansas State, West Virginia, I was way wrong on you guys, Colorado State, same thing there, Middle Tennessee State, Liberty, UTEP, Colorado, Tulsa, Charlotte, and Nevada, all with 4 losses. Now, worse than that one, if you manage to get a 5th loss, well, school says, you know what, you're an embarrassment to us. 5 losses, you're an embarrassment. My truck's turning on auto mode right now. If it starts up, I'm going to laugh my ass off right now because I'm not touching the keys. It's auto. This one of what's going on here. The newer trucks now, you run the sleeper, the power unit in the back. When the batteries get too low, you leave it on auto mode. It will automatically, with no one here, turn the truck on to run the engine up to charge the batteries and then automatically turn it off. So that way you stay asleep back there. So you don't end up having the heater or the air conditioning cut off so you don't freeze or melt, you know. But anyway, 5 losses or more, 5 losses on the season, University says, we're embarrassed. We're embarrassed of you. We're absolutely embarrassed of who you are. So we canceled your plane flight. The stadium's providing you a bus. You're not coming back that way. They're going to take you to the train station. 5 schools have hit the train station this year. Oregon State went last week, with their 5th loss. 4 more schools are going to the train station. Getting there. 4 different buses are taken to the train station. We're talking UMass, Eastern Michigan, Sam Houston State, South Alabama. All got their 5th loss and are going to the train station this week. Oh my. Now, we did the chart. Now, the top 25 is a cumulative ranking, as I said. So I had to rank all the schools with 3 losses or less. Once you get the 4th loss, you're off the list because you have 4 losses. You go to running the fence or go to the train station later on. You're off the list. So as of now, we have a 4-way tie for first. 4 different schools with minus 26. All the way down to a tie for 109th place. 109th place at plus 24. Asking who that is? That's Coastal Carolina and Georgia Southern. But the top 25, we have a lot of ties because it's early in the year. I'm going to go through the poll here, and I'm going to explain what we're going to do with... Okay, well, the name of the poll is I took the cumulative ranking starting this week. And it's based on my top 25s that I've been doing. So it's not going to be where I want it to be. This is kind of a transitional one. This won't be as good as it could be in the future. Next year's is going to be a lot better. I'll explain that after I do the top 25. And I always do the top 25 and the next 5. It turns out next 5, because of a tie at 22nd place with 6 schools, the next 5 would technically be 28th. So even though we have 6 schools tied for 22nd, they're all top 25 schools because they're tied for the same position. We have 4-way tie for 28th place, which would be the next 5. All right. Wasn't asking you. All right, first place. Now, ties here, I'm not going to go by tie breaks or anything else. Well, they beat them. They beat them doesn't count till the end of the year. We're not at the end of the year yet. We're week freaking 6 done. We're at week 7. Okay? 4-way tie for first place. Minus 26, cumulative score. Alphabetical order. Miami, Ohio State, Oregon. No surprise there. Texas Tech. Texas Tech is minus 26. So then a 4-way tie for first. 4-way tie for first means next up is 5th place. We have a tie there. Ole Miss and Texas A&M at minus 24. The shocker of this, I had to recount this 6, third score 6 times. To recount this. 7th place, standing alone in the top 10. Cumulative score, minus 22. Memphis. Memphis is minus 22. 6-0 on the year. Bowl eligible already. They've had the 6th game. That helps with that score being that high. But they're minus 22. Their situation is going to be a bad one because they're a G5. A blowout loss to a G5 is plus 10, which means they could go from minus 22 to minus 12 with 1 loss. That really changes the cumulative score here. All right, so they're staying on at 7th. In 8th place, we have a 5-way tie for 8th place with a cumulative score of minus 20. That is BYU, Georgia Tech, Indiana, Oklahoma, and Vanderbilt all have a cumulative score of minus 20. So 8 through 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Next up is 13th place, cumulative score of minus 18. That's Missouri. 14th place, 3-way tie. Score of minus 16. Alabama, South Florida, and Virginia. So that's 14, 15, 16. 17th place. We have a 5-way tie for 17th place with a cumulative score of minus 14. That is Georgia, Illinois, LSU, North Texas, and Tennessee at minus 14. That leaves the final one in the top 25. 22nd place, a 6-way tie at minus 12, which is Arizona, Iowa State, Nebraska, TCU, USC, and Utah. This is the cumulative score of the entire season. Next 5 up, which would be next 5, which is 28th place. Because how many we had tied for 22nd? 28th place, which takes all the way past 30. 4-way tie with minus 10. That's Navy, Old Dominion, who just blew out Coastal, UNLV, and Washington. That's the cumulative top 25. I said, as you get a 4th loss, you're off the list. So technically, I have 110 schools in the rankings. 110. Every week, you're going to go on there, and the list is going to add points or the loss is going to add points to your score. A loss is going to take points away. Win's going to take points away. Loss adds points, wins points take away. You get the 4th loss, you're off the list. You're running the fence. So that's how that's going to be. It's more of a cumulative score for everybody. I'm going to put up the point chart. I'll pin it in the comments section. I'm also going to put up my top 25 as a separate post, community post on YouTube, as well as a post on X of what the top 25 is and explaining how it's going. So, the new revamped top 25. Now, one thing I forgot to mention. Next year. So we're going to talk about this. Next year. What's the difference? Next year, I'm not doing a preseason top 25. I'm saying that now. I'm not doing a preseason top 25. This is going to be a cumulative ranking, which means I'm not going to do my first top 25 and my first subscriber rankings until week 5. That's after the week 0 games are done and the week 1 through 4 games are done. So we have a bit of data to work with. Okay? And then we'll do the rankings, 3 losses or less, running the fence, and anything else. Now, I said top 5 is worth more than top 25 is worth more than P4, so on and so on. How we do rankings? Well, for the first up to week 4, we're going to have to use the AP's rankings for weeks 1 through 4. 5 on your cumulative ranking in the top 25, my top 25, that top 25. So basically, Arizona, Iowa State, Nebraska, TCU, USC, and Utah are all ranked 22nd. So they're all top 25 schools. 3 G5s in the top 25, all 3 from the American. Memphis, who's in the top 10 at number 7. South Florida, who's tied for 14th. And North Texas, who's tied for 17th. Any dispute whatsoever that the American's the best conference in the G5? And by the way, before anybody asks, I get a clarification with somebody put me a private message, direct message on X. Oregon State and Washington State are not G5s right now. I'll make this clear. Oregon State and Washington State are not G5s. Okay? They are listed by the College Football Playoff as Power 4 independents. They are not eligible for the G5 College Football Playoff spot, which means they're automatically not G5s. They're being treated by the CFP as Power independents. They get paid a lot more than a G5. A little bit less than Notre Dame, but then again, Notre Dame's Notre Dame, so I expect them to make more. I don't think Oregon State, Washington State are going to complain about that because they know they're not worth Notre Dame money. That's okay, that's cool. But we're getting a lot more than a G5, so that's fair. But they're power independent, so they're not going to get the G5 spot. I want to clarify that. Because why did you put them in for a G5 ranking? Because they're not G5s. Unless they get their autonomous status back, they're going to be G5s next year. And for those who are saying, we're going to be everybody getting blown out of proportion and call themselves a power conference, so what? Because here's the thing. You can call yourself, the media can call you a power conference. There's only 4 autonomous conferences. ACC, Big 10, Big 12, SEC. The Big East, who everybody says is an autonomous conference. If you look at the actual governance, the Big East has no more power than the Patriot League, than the Horizon, than Conference USA. No more. The media says they're power, but the actual power says no. So if Pac-12 wants to call themselves a power conference, go ahead. Doesn't matter. Because when it comes to decision making, you're no better than the Horizon League. You're no better than the Patriot. You're no better than the Big East. You're not better than what you are. And the thing is, Teresa Gould voted for this. Your commissioner voted for this. She knows. The fans don't get it, but she knows. Now, that's out the way with my phone book size top 25. Yeah, 34 minutes into the show, and we're still not done yet. Now we got to get to is stand up, rank up. The standings for the fantasy draft. The G5 FCS Power 4 draft, because everybody decided to change the damn rules. I'm a little mad about that one, but the one I got proposed for next year, yeah. And I purposely, and JY and Steve all look at, I did it because I didn't like the way you guys kept changing your minds. I wanted to create a rule that's just absolute. We're done. Here's the structure. It's recurring on the annually basis. This is what it is. No crying, no whining, no negotiation. No, I changed my mind. No, you don't change a damn thing. This is what it's going to be. And we didn't know I knew when we did this. So I can't be mad at JY and Steve for adding FCS schools or doing power whatever, because we didn't know what the hell it was going to be at the point. I didn't have the idea until later on, like late June, I think it was July. Actually, July, after the 4th of July, with the idea of doing another draft, which we just didn't have time to get to. Actually, it was late July. But anyway, that's something for next year as well. Hopefully around May we can pull it off before Memorial Day. Or early June. We'll see. But anyway, we did a mock draft, FCS G5 Power Draft, call it. Everybody picked 12 schools. Myself, JY and Steve for the Big Mountain Podcast, Steven from STV Castle, who one of the segments on his channel is Bobcat Corner. He's a huge Ohio Bobcats fan, and told to Steven, talk more about the MAC. Expand in the MAC. Do more, because trust me, MAC voices, you did a do a better job than they did. My personal opinion, but that's this. So we have 4 schools, 4 conferences. Each picked ours. We're ranking all these on several categories, but the one we're doing the updates on for the beginning of the year is just your win-loss record. Your percentage. So Stevens, unfortunately, is in 4th place. He had a lot of his schools had a really bad run, and it's really sad. They went 3-14 the last 2 weeks, which unfortunately puts him at 18-44 on the year, 29%. Stevens Conference, doing the rankings for Stevens Conference, Texas State in 1st place at 3-2. 3 schools tied for 2nd: Coastal Carolina, Miami of Ohio, and Ohio at 2-3. Tulsa's next at 2-4. We have 6 schools tied at 1-4. That's Charlotte, Colorado State, Georgia State, Middle Tennessee State, Northern Illinois, and UTEP, and Sam Houston State at 0-5. So Stevens Conference is in 4th place. That's where he was last week. Down a spot from last week into 3rd place from 2nd is Steve from the Big Mountain. He came back down to earth after having the best week last two-week period. Last 2-week period, he had the best 2-week run. He went 9-7, which drops him to 3rd place. He picked FCS schools, plus he picked 2 power schools in Washington State and Oregon State. So Tarleton State is FCS is in 1st place at 6-0. UNLV is at 5-0. Fresno State's 5-1. San Diego State's 4-1. Hawaii's 4-2. Troy, Utah State, and Washington State are all 3-2. San Jose State and UTSA are 2-3. Air Force is 1-4, and Oregon State is 0-6 to put his overall record at 38-26, 59.4%. So here's going to put this back. In 2nd place, down a notch from 1st, is JY, who went 11-8 the previous 2 weeks. Well, he went 11-8 again. 2nd best of the last 2 weeks. North Texas and North Dakota State, his 2 picks are 5-0. Western Kentucky's now 5-1. Tulane is 4-1. Appalachian State, Boise State, and New Mexico are 3-2. Rice is 3-3. FAU, Georgia Southern, Louisiana, and Wyoming are all 2-3 for a cumulative record of 39-24, 61.9%. And yours truly, who was 3rd place 2 weeks ago, when in 1st place, I went 13-5 the last 2 weeks. My conference has Memphis in 1st at 6-0, Navy at 5-0, South Florida and James Madison at 4-1, UConn at 4-2, Temple, Toledo, and East Carolina at 3-2, Army, Marshall, and UAB at 2-3, and Liberty at 1-4. I don't know how Liberty got that bad. For a cumulative record of 39-23, 62.9%. Yes, JY. We both have 39 wins. I have 23 losses. You have 24 losses. One more loss. Those week 0 games caught up to you. And I'm now ahead by the smallest of margins. I'm in first place. But it's going to be a battle here going on. So again, I'm in first. Jay Wise in second. Steve's in third. Steven is in fourth. We're going to see how this goes on here. Now, the subscriber rankings. Now, like what I did with the top 25, I did a cumulative ranking for everybody. Unlike this, where we're cutting schools off, we have 50 schools. It ranks everybody. And again, here's a spoiler alert. Just because a school is 0-6 doesn't mean they're in last place. Because if you have a close loss to a top 25 school, a blowout loss to a top 25 isn't as bad as a blowout loss to a G5. So, how we rank in the subscriber rankings for all the subscriber schools. A 3-way tie for first place with -26. That's Miami, Ohio State, and Oregon. In fourth place, top 5 is Memphis at -22. In fifth place with -20 is BYU among the subscriber schools. And tied for sixth at -16 is Alabama and South Florida. Tied for eighth, 3-way tie with -14 is Georgia, LSU, and Tennessee. So all 3 are top 10. Tied for 11th place at -12 is Iowa State and Utah. Tied for 13th at -10 is UNLV and Washington. We're going to pause there. One thing I forgot to do with the top 25, because I got asked about this. I'm going to pause. I'm just going to re-go through this again here. I forgot something specific. I'd ask you to dump all over the damn floor, dumbass. Hell, I leave off here. This, you go here. But someone asked me was, there were a bunch of schools, 4 schools with 2 losses. Our 4 superstars who've got 2 losses now, referring to alphabetical order: Florida State, Notre Dame, Penn State, Texas. When your cumulative ranking, where are they? Notre Dame lost 2 games. Close losses. Not so much points at it. Notre Dame is tied for 32nd with 7 other schools. An 8-way tie for 32nd with Arizona State, Cincinnati, Houston, James Madison, Louisiana Tech, Michigan, and Tulane, along with Notre Dame. Now, the others, so we already know where Notre Dame is. Where is Florida State? Well, they're in a 4-way tie for 45th at -4 with Florida State, along with Duke, Kansas, and Mississippi State. Penn State is in a 6-way tie for 49th at -2 cumulative points for the season. Penn State is there with Auburn, Iowa, Pitt, Western Kentucky, and Texas. You guys are barely in the top 50. So all 4 of them are in the top 50. Just barely. One more loss is really going to look bad. But somebody want to know where they're at. I forgot to mention that earlier. So, wow, 43 minutes. We're ready to get this going. All right, again, Miami was Ohio State. Well, here we did Miami, Ohio State, and Oregon in first place. Memphis is in 4th place. BYU's in 5th. Alabama and South Florida tied for 6th. Georgia, LSU, and Tennessee tied for 8th to finish the top 10. Iowa State, Washington tied for 11th. UNLV and Houston tied for 13th. Tied for 15th at -8 is Houston and Notre Dame. Tied for 17th, 4 schools at -6. Baylor, Fresno State, Louisville, and San Diego State. In 21st place, by themselves, top 25, -2, Western Kentucky. And a tie for 22nd, which basically finishes off the top 25. We'll rank all 50. 4-way tie for 22nd with +2, positive +2. Cal, East Carolina, New Mexico, and UCF. Those are the 4 there. 26th place at +4 is Toledo. 27th place, 3-way tie for +6, Hawaii, Texas State, and Troy. A 3-way tie for 30th at +8, Boise State, Delaware, and Utah State. In 33rd place, standing alone with +12, Washington State. And 34th place, standing alone at +14, is Ohio. In 35th place at +16, a 3-way tie, Central Michigan, Marshall, and San Jose State. In 38th place, plus 18, Bowling Green, standalone. 39th place, tying the top 40 with plus 20, UAB and Wyoming. In 41st place, by themselves at plus 22, Colorado. 42nd place at plus 24, Coastal Carolina and West Virginia. 44th place in a tie at plus 26, Oklahoma State and UCLA, the two biggest disappointments perhaps power-wise. In 46th place, we got a three-way tie, 46, 47, and 48 at plus 30, Colorado State, Northern Illinois, and UTEP. In 49th place with a cumulative score of plus 40 is Oregon State. And the worst school, unfortunately, in the bottom of the subscriber ranking, the cumulative score of plus 44 is UMass. UMass is the worst in the cumulative score. So, yeah. We have a range of minus 26 to plus 44. 70-point swing. And this is going to get probably wider as the season goes along. So, I'll probably, if you guys want to put up the subscriber rankings as well, remember, subscriber schools are the ones who care. I think the top 25 is the one who really cares about it. If you want to do, let me know in the comments. I'll do it. But if not, I'll keep it going. And last but not least, what do we got to look for in week 7? Now that all of that extra notation that I did all that work on, which took half a Saturday, a little bit of Sunday, and part of last night to finish it, because I had everything else pretty much done. I had feed a few things with the games and everything else, for the late games, getting those in. What games are we looking forward to in week 7 upcoming? Well, we got 2 games in the American, which could really decide who the conference championship is going to be there. 3-2 East Carolina on the road at 4-1 Tulane. And then the big one, 4-1 South Florida at 5-0 North Texas. North Texas says, we belong. I have you in my top 25. You beat South Florida, who's now ranked again. You're going to be in the top 25 at 6-0. They finally put Memphis in. Took them long enough. I mean, I've had Memphis in for a while. You guys have been sleeping. We got several games here for rivalry purposes. I'm going to shoot some of the other ones, oddball ones. 4-1 Michigan at 4-1 USC. That always is a good game. You got 5-0 BYU at 4-1 Arizona. That could be an interesting one there. 4-1 Arizona State at 4-1 Utah. That could be good. 4-1 Alabama at 5-0 Missouri. Mizzou, you say you belong. You got to beat. Can you beat the Tide? But I think realistically, 3 games are the 3 games of the week. Realistically, if I'm being honest. 5-0 Ohio State at 5-1 Illinois. Are they Illinois going to get their second loss? Or are they going to pull off the upset and beat Ohio State? It's going to be a damn good game. You're in Champaign, so it's going to be a good game here. You've got 5-0 Indiana at 5-0 Oregon. That's going to be one hell of a game. Can Indiana go somewhat cross country from the Midwest and out to the Northwest and beat Oregon? Top 25 matchup. And the big game of the week, which may not be such a big game of the week, because based on what happened last year, you wouldn't say this. The Red River rivalry, Red River shootout. 5-0 Oklahoma and 3-2 Texas. The way these two are playing, does Texas have a shot of beating Oklahoma? With Mateer out, yeah. Mateer's back and playing somewhat normal, no shot. That offensive line, Oklahoma's rushing the quarterback. You've got a Swiss cheese offensive line. I look at them, you guys might have the worst offensive line in the SEC. It's going to be a damn good week here. But I've done enough yapping. We're almost 50 minutes in. Holy crap, didn't expect to be this long, but there was a lot of explaining to what I had to do here. So again, I've done enough talking. Sure as hell been running my mouth too damn long. Let me know what you think about all this down in the comments. Again, thanks everybody for watching the video. If you haven't done already, do me the favor, please. Smash the like button, hit the thumbs up. Helps with the algorithm. This video be seen by more people. Comment on the video. Holy crap, where do I start? 5-star performers. Hit the gym. What the blue hell? Like the picks. Any of them you think I missed that should have been on there? Let me know about those in the comments. The revamped top 25. Rather than doing weekly, This is a cumulative score based on the entire season. I think this is better than what I was doing. It's more cumulative. Like as I said, for next year, it's going to be better because we're going to do the AP up to week 5, and then from then on, it's going to be the cumulative ranking. Top 25 will be the ranking I use, not APs, because AP is just all over the damn place. Because they still have Notre Dame ranked. I don't. I got Notre Dame, Penn State. They still have Notre Dame and Florida State ranked. Both of them are out of mine. They got Penn State and Texas right. They didn't get the other two right. You still don't have You still don't have North Texas ranked. Let me know what you think about. Do you like the new top 25? Do you like the new subscriber rankings? In fact, it's cumulative score. Let me know what you think about that down in the comments. That's the one I really want the most input in. Is what do you think of the new idea? Because I think this, rather than being reactionary, this is a cumulative score for the entire season, and it's more accurate, I think, for your entire body of work. So let me know what you think about it down in the comments. We also got our games of the week to look forward to and everything else. But let me know what you think about everything down in the comments. Share the video if you want to. If you haven't done it already, check out some of the other videos that I've done. If you like them, hey, subscribe to the channel. On the road to 2K, trying to make some magic happen. You want to follow me on X, the link is in the description. So again, thanks everybody for watching on this crazy Monday morning. I got to get going here pretty soon here because I've got a lot of the driving done already, but I still got a lot more to go. To get where I need to get to down to Laredo, Texas. Still got another 9 to 10 hour day still to do. So thanks everybody for watching. There'll be some more realignment stuff coming up in here. Working in on that. Also, we're going to have our stories in week 7 video coming up pretty soon as we got early week games again. So at least I haven't checked it for sure yet, but we'll check on that. So anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Sorry it kept you so long, but there was a lot to get into. Let me know about the top 25 and the rankings. I'm really serious. I need feedback on that. What do you think of the new cumulative ranking system? I think that's better, but let me know down in the comments. Share, send everything. So thanks everybody for watching. Have a great day, and please be good to each other.